Hold up, wait a minute. Okay, now, so we live. You ready to do this?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Frank Lee made the beat.
They say you the hardest out, man, that's what I'm here for. You put it on for the South, and that's what I'm here for. My entourage need $1 million, homie, man, that's what I'm here for. Tryna walk around with $1 million on me, that's what I'm here for.
Hey, what it do, KTTV? This is KT, and I'm coming at you live with another episode of the Underground Kings. Hold up, / that Queenz podcast tonight. I have singer, songwriter, and I'm going to say it, voiceover superstar, Miss Wayla Vargas. How you doing tonight, Miss Vargas?
I'm good. How are you?
I am great. It's just another grind. So I just want to say thank you for taking some time out of a busy schedule to stop by, talk to the audience. Look, we are here tonight.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Look. So, just thinking about as we talked pre-show of being able to connect and come back is one thing to network, but that's just being in the room and saying hey to people, getting a card.
Yes.
But it's another thing to make that connection. And here we are months later, right?
I know. It's so crazy. I love it though.
Hey, that's it, man. The power of a conversation.
Yes.
So as we jump into things, as it's been crazy, I always like to start by just doing a wellness check-in because we know life is very So how have you been doing during this pandemic, and how you staying safe out here as you go to your shows and maneuver?
I feel like I'm doing better. I had like a rough kind of mid-summer last year. But I feel like I've healed, and I feel like the pandemic has helped me kind of like figure out who I am, like a self-inspiration, everything. And just kind of prepare me to get back into writing and working on music all over again.
And so, now you can't just say it was difficult and you don't give us a little background on that. So talk to us about what happened, because it's all about what did you overcome, right?
Yes.
So talk to us about that as we get into things.
Okay. So, I was dating somebody for 4 years on and off. It wasn't really the most healthy relationship. And it was kind of dimming my light, I have to say. I feel like I was very like sad. And it got to the point where this person attacked me physically. And I didn't think that I would make it out of that situation in that moment. Like I thought that was like the last time I'd see my daughter or anything. But I survived, and I'm better now, and I feel like I've moved past that, and I was lucky to be alive because I could get away from that whole relationship.
Yeah. And the thing is, wow, just thinking about that pandemic. And so, not to get too deep, but were y'all living together?
Yes, he had just, it's crazy because we weren't, but he had just moved in. We just moved in together for like a couple months. And it took a few months and it just went even more downhill. So it was kind of crazy.
Well, the good thing, I'll tell you one part of that before we move forward was just, I would always think about my students and say, okay, well, what's happening at the house or how crazy it is at the house, because that is going on. And during the pandemic, you have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Right. So you see all that and it's like, man. So I'm glad you were able to kind of overcome, kind of work past that. And here we are today.
I know. Happy.
Right. So originally from Hawaii,
yes.
Navy veteran.
Yes.
So first, thank you for the service. I will start by there. So now just jumping into a little bit of background about you, how did some of those experiences kind of shape you into the woman that you are today?
I feel like being from Hawaii, we're very grounded. Especially now I've been in, like, we call it the mainland back home. So being in the mainland since I was 18, I feel like it's so different. Like life is not the same as it was back home in Hawaii. I feel like I have more of like a nurturing and loving spirit and more calm. And then I realize a lot of everything in the mainland is so fast and so like crazy and hectic. So I feel like Hawaii just made me like the soft grounded person that I am, because we're all about love and aloha out there.
Yeah. I mean, it's not too many places you go where you get that light as soon as you get off, right?
Exactly.
That calms you in the beginning anyway.
Yeah.
Man, that's so awesome. And so then just thinking about that,
Mhm.
and I can understand it now, but how does that transfer over to the music side?
I feel like well, I grew up on reggae music. It was,
Yeah.
it was all Bob Marley, and our more local bands out there in Hawaii, like our larger local bands. And I used to go to like UB40 concerts growing up. And then I grew up on Lauryn Hill because, you know, Bob Marley and just Lauryn Hill vibes, the Wailers, everything. And I feel like um it just to translate into my music because I don't really rap about anything harsh. My music's very like sensual and
Yes.
loving. It's sexy. I feel like I just like to bring that energy into my music.
Mhm. So now, who was that first person? Like, because I know you said the Bob, and because we talking R&B, we talking a little
Mhm.
neo soul, a little reggae.
Yes.
But who was that artist that was like, you know what, music is for me?
It was Christina Aguilera
Come on now.
and Aaliyah. And I
Oh,
grew up like and Brandy.
yeah.
I loved Brandy's like her voice where she could make it very soft, but it was
Mhm.
very powerful at the same time.
Yeah.
So I honestly grew up just like in my room listening to like Lauryn Hill, um, Brandy, Aaliyah, and Christina Aguilera, and I'd teach myself how to sing, like to hit certain notes.
Come on now. Hey, but that's how it started though.
It
Like,
does.
push that little ear in, and then we
Right.
try to hear yourself. Come on,
It
man.
is you be like this or you go like this.
Man, that is awesome. So,
Yeah.
what I want to do is I want to jump into a little of the music.
Yeah.
So let's see if we can set this up, and after that, let's kind of talk about this. Hold up, let me see
Okay.
here. Let me see what we got here. I want to be able to. Okay, let's do this.
I like it when you do that.
Keep my body nice and slow. Watch my back and lose control. Don't go back to let it go. Body on a body. Keep my body nice and slow. Watch my back and lose control. Don't go back to let it go. Body on a body. Yeah, you dirty and you running when I'm fucking right. Like an energizer bunny, I'ma go all night. Got me screaming while we fucking by the candlelight. Got my body feeling like, got your body feeling like, ooh. You know how we do. Body screaming, ooh. Got my body feeling like, got your body feeling like. Keep my body nice and slow. Watch my back and lose control. Don't go back to let it go. Body on a body. Keep my body nice and slow. Watch my back and lose control. Don't go back to let it go. Body on a body. We can release our minds. Go ahead and let's get faded. So high, I'm hypnotized. Sex so good it drives me crazy. Switch positions like a porno, yeah, that's what we like. Hit that climax when I go and grip that pussy tight. Like protection, baby, love it when you come inside. It's so big, I'm creaming like. It's so deep, I'm screaming like. Ooh.
Ooh, look, look, look.
That is my favorite track.
Look, you know, you got to talk to us about it because now when we talk about all this, we talk about Bob Marley, we talk about this Lauryn Hill.
Yes.
That was hard right there. So kind of talk to us about the setup. Where was the video? How long it's been out?
So the video I shot it in Atlanta.
Mhm.
I had met a videographer back in Atlanta, I want to say late 2020 and or was early, yeah, it was either late 2020 or early 2021. And ever since then, like that's who I love to work with now. He knows how like what my angles are, what I like,
Mm,
and just like he has all the good light. He just understands what to do when we shoot, and his input and ideas are amazing too.
yeah.
Um,
Uh-huh.
oh no, and I was just gonna say his name is Jay Legion, but I love him.
Yeah.
That's like family now.
Yeah, and that's the thing about it. Being able to stay consistent with somebody that grows with you,
Yes.
is so important.
And to gain that
Wow.
comfort, yeah, it's amazing.
Now, so much of that, I think success of a record is because the visuals was tight, but then you got that beat in the background with that production.
Mhm.
So in the studio, and we talked a little bit about this in the pregame. So talk to us about that creative process. Is there anything that you have to do like crazy? Like some people have to like cry before they get into their R&B zone. So is there anything you have to do like that?
No, I wanted to say I don't have to do anything crazy. Um, Sometimes I'll have a little drink, like I'll take a shot, but I try not to like dry out my vocal cords because
Yeah.
over the years I've learned like if I drink or do anything else, it's hard for me to like get the right melody, the right tones or anything.
Hmm.
Um, but I do have to listen to the track like a bunch of times.
Yeah.
So whether I'm at home in my own studio or if I'm in a live studio, I always
Mm.
tell people like I'm so sorry, you might get irritated because we're just going to keep playing this track because I'm the type of person I have to actually feel
Yeah.
something when I hear it. Because if I don't, it's
Mm.
very hard for me to write. And I've learned if I can feel it, I can essentially just freestyle the whole song. And that was the first song I've ever freestyled in the
Mm.
studio. So, and it came out amazing.
Hey, well, look, I would just say, that freestyle. I don't know what you be having going, but if that freestyle is coming straight out there, you got, hey, look now, what's happening over there, Miss Vargas?
I get so excited. Like I'll start jumping up and down, like, oh my God, I'm killing it. And then I'll just
Yeah,
keep going. I'm like, okay, no, take this out. Let me go back again and figure it
yeah.
out.
Well, look, we are in H-Town, so it's home of the freestyle queens and kings.
Yes.
So that's what's up, man. So I've talked to several female artists
Mhm.
on the show. I got a little kickback. Is that me? Hold on, can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay, good. So
Okay.
I've talked to several female artists, and we
Mhm.
consistently try to target quality information out to young ladies who are coming up in the game, as yourself, right? And
Mhm.
so as you work with producers, other musicians, being so pretty too, right? How do you avoid those times when it's not really about the music? It's just a way to kind of get closer to you.
You know, it's so crazy because I've talked about this to my friends and like at least the people that I'm close with to sharing my music side of things. It happens all the time. So you'll get, emails or DMs and it'll be asking to do features or hey, I want to work with you as a manager for another artist. And it always ends up turning, well, I wanna say like 90% of the time it turns into, "Oh, well, you're really pretty. We should get together." And it's not about the music. So now I just make everything go my best friend turned to my manager. So everything just goes through him. Um, I think it's just making sure once the first initial time it happens,
Mhm.
a lot of us women, we just laugh it off. We're just like, "Oh, thanks. You're nice." But I've learned to just be open and honest in the beginning. Like,
Yeah,
this is all about business. I don't want to mix business and pleasure. We should just keep it professional.
yeah.
And that way we can continue to work. And if you make it uncomfortable, well, now you shot your chance at working with me.
Mhm. That's it.
Mhm.
That's like what Sheila say. That's crazy. Let's just stick to the business. Come on,
Yeah,
Sheila.
like, can we just do what we came here to do? And most of the time, I don't like mixing any of like whoever I work with as an engineer or producer or business, anything like that. I don't like to mix intimacy in that
Mhm.
type of form just because if it goes wrong,
Yeah.
then now you broke that bridge as far as professionalism. So now
Hmm.
you can't really work with them. It's not the same.
Hmm. Man, and while we're thinking about that production,
Mhm.
as I listen to a lot of your music, the production is tight. So, and just giving people a heads up, how do you find those producers that keep you supplying you with these 5 tracks?
Relationships. It's
Man.
all about keeping those relationships because I've learned over the years. So I started putting out my music professionally back in 2017. Um, and I was introduced, well, me and a friend, we met on Instagram. It was crazy. I was in the Navy. I had just joined, just got to my first base. And he was in the Army, but he did music and he was well known. But we came across each other's profiles and we ended up becoming really great friends. And he introduced me to his engineer, um, and also producer. He was produced some of the songs he did, and that's my engineer now. And he also produces some of my tracks. I'll give him an idea and he'll just do it. And we've known each other since then. Um, and other producers that I work with, it's just if it clicks in the studio or if the sound they know, once I give them a song that I finished with them, they'll always give me the same, like that same fired sound.
Yeah.
Like I can always work with them and trust them.
Mm-hmm. And as you went through those places, so I know you
Mhm.
say you're going to your first base. So as you go through those tours and go to different places, how did that influence like the music? Was you kind of like, this is what I want to be about, or did it change depending on where you went?
I feel like my music changes based on my emotions.
Yeah.
So, I'll either be in like a sensual, sexy mood depending on what's going on in my life.
Yeah.
And then there'll be times where I'm just like grounded, mellow. I can kind of give you like a smoker's vibe. Um, and just kind of like in more of the love feeling
Yeah.
versus being sexual.
Mm,
So it's all about that. And then I feel like I found myself more in the mainland because it was more so hearing all this different music out here and the different cultures and then bringing my own culture into it. I feel like that's how I found out my sound.
yeah. Well, I will tell you, and I hope other people will concur from our snippet there that it is on point right there.
Well, yay.
Hey.
I hope they love it.
So another tricky part of being an artist is the
Mhm.
contracts, right? And
Yeah.
so as a female artist, I think about like all of the stuff Houston artists like Megan went through with the contracts and things like that. So do you think as a female it's harder to get that fair contract?
I feel like it is as a female, but also just as an independent artist. I
Mm,
feel like we get taken advantage of because most of the time, when they're signing artists, they either get them when they're really young or they get them when they are newer to the industry, so they don't understand what they're supposed to be doing. Because I feel like I've learned a lot more
mhm,
in the last year and a half of working with different people. It's just making sure I don't sign anything. And then if I do decide I want to sign something, I'm having an entertainment lawyer look at it versus me just being like, "Oh my god, I'm excited. I'm just going to sign my." And maybe the military helped me because I feel like
mhm.
when I joined the military, I had to sign my life away and I don't want to do that with my music because I keep my music very personal to me because I write everything. Um so I don't wanna sign it away and then I
Yeah.
don't have it no more,
Mhm,
or I have to do what they want me to do versus
mhm.
me actually enjoying what I'm doing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's like talking to my friend Garfield from
Mhm.
Shy. I we talk and he said, "Well, man, I'm just thankful that we wrote all of our own music and we was able to keep all that information
Yeah.
because 20 years later, 30 years later, they're touring, but they're still making money every time the spins go versus somebody else, right?
Right.
So, man, I understand what you're saying. So now, what's the worst contract or deal that you made thus far, and what lesson did you learn from that?
I got so lucky. It was when I was in Washington, when I was based out there with the Navy, and, it was getting my feet wet. I was new to, like, the whole getting actually into industry and putting music out, and I was introduced to someone who was supposedly an artist manager, who had a large following out in Seattle. So, I met him and everything sounded great. I looked over the contract and it was for 4 years. And I was like, "Okay, sounds great." And he said in the beginning, he was like, "Well, if it doesn't work out, we'll talk and I will release you from the contract." But of course, those are
Okay.
just words.
Yeah. Hey, look. Yeah.
Not the It's not on the contract, but you take somebody's word for it. um, but he ended up adding more people to his team, and the people that he was adding to the team, there was another artist, and me and her got along. She was so sweet and she's so talented. Um, And then I'd hired, I want to say she was like a stylist, PR, but she was very like rude in the way she talked to the other artist. The other artist had confided in me, and I was like, well, that's not okay. Like, I wouldn't want to be a part of a team like that. And so we kind of clashed heads because they weren't really helping um as far as like networking for me. I was still doing everything myself. So for me, it's like, why would I give someone a percentage if I'm doing the work? Um so I talked to him, and like luckily he did keep his word and I got out of my contract. But that's just that thought now. I won't sign anything because
Yeah.
it's like, what if he didn't? And I would have been stuck, and probably wouldn't have wanted to put out music because I wouldn't have wanted him to have any of it.
Yeah, 4 years, right?
Mhm.
Especially locked in that situation. So,
Yes.
hey, congratulations. That was
Yeah, so
the
that's like my
chin, chin,
first and
chin.
only lesson, and I
Yeah,
have not have been like requested to sign anything yet. So I
yeah,
think that's a good thing. Maybe it's just alignment.
yeah.
It's when it's supposed to happen. At least now I know what I'm supposed to do.
Hmm. And thinking about that, coming out of the pandemic. So,
Mhm.
as I stated, we connected at the press junket. Shout out to Derek. He
Yes.
was really instrumental into why I started this podcast because I
Oh,
wanted to be able to talk about the music because I'm a Street Favorite fan, right? For
yeah.
years. But on top of that, as he said, people were signing up for Loud Fest. They only wanted to do the artist side, but nobody never worried about the contracts. Nobody worried about the business side. They just want to sing and
Mm,
perform. So I was like, how do we get people on to come and talk about their struggles, talk about the contracts, and then
yeah.
just give that information out? So awesome for that. But just thinking about making those connections post pandemic, why is it so important for new artists to make that connection, to do things like the press junket or other ways of getting themselves out to the public?
I feel like it's mainly just because you're going there not just for yourself, but you're also going there so others can see who you are, your personality, if they can work with you, if they see something in you, maybe you don't even notice. And networking, just building relationships with people because you never know who you're going to connect with. Say you sit down and this person works for, who was it, Pandora,
Mhm.
or they work for Clubhouse, like all these people that had came. And then you build this relationship and you actually make a connection to where, okay, you know what, we're going to sit down later and we're going to talk. And you can't just make that randomly on the street. And it's very rare to connect with anyone in those companies, to get your name out there. And I feel like it just sets you apart as an art, especially an independent artist,
Yeah,
that one, you're investing in yourself, you believe in yourself too, and just that you're willing to actually go out there and do the legwork.
yeah, that's a big part of it. Like, what
Mm-hmm.
are you willing to do while other people are at the house relaxing?
Yep. Not
So
wanting to put the money in.
yeah, yeah, especially out there, because I know it was the pandemic. It was still, I think we may have been just going back up. We were still there.
Hmm.
It was kind of deep in that thing, but look.
Yes. I was sick of it.
Hey, it's like, man, but we made it though. And so I guess for young ladies
Hmm.
who believe that they can do it, but as you think about the contracts and you think about keeping it professional, those aren't really the popular ways that get you on, right?
Yeah.
So life is way harder. What do you say to those young ladies to kind of keep them still staying in their headspace of stay true to who you are, do what you do, and it'll work out eventually?
Um, I feel like focus on yourself and really, because if you change yourself, if you change because you feel like, oh, this is going to gain me followers instead of this is what I like to do, and if people love me, they're going to see how genuine I am. I feel like you lose yourself, and then you don't have that mental health anymore. I feel like your mental health declines because you're not who you really are. Um and just really honing in on not trying to change yourself. It took me some time. Like, I feel like everything is just in your timing. Don't rush it, because when you rush it, then you feel like you need to be like the next person and do certain things just to be noticed.
Powerful words, man. Just stay true to yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's only so long you can hold up that facade. Kind of like in relationships, like the representative only lasts for so long. Then I
Yeah.
see you really crazy.
Yeah, and I feel like it's just mainly everybody's rushing.
Yeah,
I almost had a moment like that. It was like a year and I was so frustrated with myself, and I had to realize that I have to stop worrying about the age. I have to stop worrying about why am I not where this other person is at? Why is my music not reaching certain ears? And I had to just really say everything's gonna align when it's supposed to align, and
yeah,
my timing will come. And I can't rush it because that's not how it works.
yeah. And it's nothing like the pandemic to help you sit down, kind of take that time to kind of assess everything and come up to
Mhm.
that thought. Because in the go world, you're like, okay, how can I go more to get more? But then kind of back and assessing, okay, is it the time or what can I do on the back
Yeah.
end to put me down? So awesome reflections right there. Now, we cannot stop without you telling us about these TikTok videos.
Ugh, yes.
Look, so how do you figure out which ones that you want to do? Because you be having some ones like, look, you be having that good. So, so how do you decide on what you want to do and put it together?
So I don't even know how I started it. It was
Yeah,
just I was always told to show my personality and really start connecting with people so that way I could gain genuine followers. And I couldn't figure it out because I'm not a talker when it comes to just going on live
yeah,
or just making a video talking about myself. That's just not who I am. So I was just scrolling through TikTok, and my daughter's always on it. I have a daughter, so um I was like, "Oh, what? Maybe this is me. I'll just start making these little TikToks or reels and I'll go through them and I'll be like, oh, this is cute. Like, I want to do it. Sounds like
yeah,
something I would enjoy doing." Or if I'm like, oh, I kind of feel like that. So let me post it.
yes,
And then I can just do my little acting and it's nobody's watching me. It's just the camera.
yeah,
And I feel like it shows who I am. Like, I'll show my goofy side. And I did one to Lotto's song, one of her new songs. And it was just me and my daughter wanted to chime in. She was like, "Can I throw a can of soup?" And I was like, "Sure." But that's our household because even when the camera's not on, we're goofy and weird like that. We just
yeah,
kind of hang out and we have a good time.
yeah. That's what you say. Like you say, just being yourself.
Mhm.
Look, Sheila. So what she say? I need her to teach me how to master it. Look, she got it,
I will
Sheila.
help you. I have been learning because I felt old when I went on there and I was like, what are all these little buttons I have to edit and what times I need to post and how often I need to post. So it's
Yeah,
all been just like learning and I like to learn. So it's been kind of fun.
yeah. I agree. Just
Yeah.
yeah, because what I've learned is the parents, like the older people on there, get more of the attention, right?
Yeah.
Because it's just like the amazement of what are you doing here?
Yeah, and
You know?
what's funny is, like, people there's always, like, majority of it's good comments, and, of course, you're gonna get, like, people talking about you. So,
Hmm.
every time I see it, though, it's so funny to me because 'cause I'm like, "Dang, you guys are funny." Like, because I
Yeah,
know that if you're clowning on me, that means
yeah,
must be what you do to other people in person, and I think it's funny, so I
yeah.
don't
It
take it
is.
apart.
My fam, is it really that serious? Like,
That's what I'm saying, I'm like, "We're here having fun on my page."
yeah, man, that's cool. Then that's cool. So, how do we find you? How do we hear more of the music? Just give us all the info.
So you guys can find me at WELAVARGAS. It's on all streaming platforms, so you can find me that way on Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon Music. I know it uploads to SoundCloud if people use SoundCloud. I know not everyone does now. And that's all my social media handles too. So everywhere you go, it's WELAVARGAS.
Man, in the game, in the
Yes.
game. So, are you back to performing?
You know, I haven't performed since the pandemic hit.
Yeah,
Um, and it's kind of crazy. It's like, how people talk about Summer Walker having
yeah,
anxiety and everything. That's kind of me. I just usually take like a shot or two before I go on
yeah,
stage. Because no matter how many times I perform, like I get all shaky.
yes, yeah.
But I'm supposed to be doing a network performance
Okay.
on March 3rd. We're filming.
Hmm.
So that'll be like my first performance in the last year and a half. So
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Man, and you'll be out in the city? Are you in Houston?
It'll be Dallas. It's gonna be out in Dallas. So I have to drive out there.
Man, come on now. Dirty Dallas flex.
I know. Hey, I told myself, look, everything's aligning right now, and my first performance will be a network performance, so that's exciting.
Yeah, congratulations on all
Thank
that success, though, Ms. Vargas. Consistency is the thing, so just keep putting it out there. Keep dropping that good quality music. So angelic. So I think everything is it's on its way.
Thank you. I know. I'm excited.
Hey, well, I wanted to say thank you for taking some time out, like I say, of the busy schedule, to just come on, game us up, and I look forward to just sharing this out with everybody, because those tidbits, even like I say, something as simple as being yourself, right?
Yes.
So much great information. So just thank you for coming through the hood.
Yeah, I'm so happy I came through.
Hey, look, so I'll get this out and I'll get it shared with you. And yeah, let's keep that music going. I need feature if you need me to come through, be in the video.
Of course. Yes, that'll be so fun.
All right, y'all. That will do it.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. This is KT for KTTV signing out.
And this is Vela Vargas, and you're watching KTTV.
Hey.
This is Darnell with Broadcast Houston.
This is Dr. Tamara Beckford.
Hey, this is Candace.
This is London Underwood.
This is Kirsten Bass with Inner City Greens, and you're watching.
Y'all are now tuned in to
KTTV.
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 KTTV.